What's up, everybody? This is Get to Know. I hope today was a great day for all you guys and gals out there. I hope everybody had a safe and good day today. Today is a beautiful day for me, anyway. I hope it was for all of you. Today we're going to be discussing the nine cycles of why abuse continues. Hang on a second. Just a second, guys. Okay, so um, we will be discussing 9 reasons the cycle of abuse continues. Let's do this real quick. Maybe we'll see. Hi, bad girl. How are you tonight? Okay, this is an article from verywellmind.com. It was done by Elizabeth Hartney, reported on February 16th, 2022. People who are sexually abused in childhood may have a higher risk of being in adult relationships where they are abused physically, emotionally, and or sexually. In some cases, people who are victimized may become abusive themselves. This pattern is known as a cycle of abuse. It can be hard to understand why someone who has been sexually abused in childhood would engage in an abusive relationship again. This article discusses some of the reasons This article discusses some of the reasons sexually abused children grow up to have abusive relationships in adulthood. Number 1, it feels familiar. Okay. If the connection between abuse and love is made early in life, the feeling of shame and anger, which naturally happens as a consequence of the abuse, can become mixed up with sexual feelings, leading to confusion in the person who experienced the abuse. These feelings may become interpreted as feelings of love and passion and can lead to sexual arousal. People who have been abused may not realize that other healthier ways of feeling in relationships are possible. They may believe they are attracted to or feel love for their abuser, sometimes even thinking they have a special connection to the abuser. Their experience taps into feelings of intimacy associated with abuse that are imprinted at a very early age. When they are later abused in an intimate relationship, they perceive the familiar feelings of shame and anger as love and passion. Seems about correct. I watched my aunt go through this. Watched my aunt go through this crap. So let's recap the first one. The first one was it feels familiar. So reason number one that the cycle of abuse continues is because it feels familiar for them. Recap. Early childhood experiences with abuse can create associations that persist into adulthood. Facts. Number two, it is an attempt to heal. A survivor of childhood sexual abuse may try to undo the abuse by taking back power, by engaging in a relationship with another abuser. They can try to relive the relationship with their original abuser in the hope that they can get it right this time. Similarly, by becoming an abuser, someone who has been abused can play the role of the more powerful person in the relationship in an attempt to overcome the powerlessness they felt. Unfortunately, this is not effective, and they may repeatedly dominate others in the futile attempt to get over the weakness they experienced. To recap, the cycle of abuse may be related to an attempt to heal from past trauma or to regain a sense of power and control. Hey, Batgirl, if you want, you can join me up here on panel. And since you're a survivor of domestic abuse and other abuse, maybe you can help give some insight. Oh, what's up, brother Jeremiah? That's hard, but you see it happen. That's hard, but you see it happen. I think we've all had friends in abusive relationships, and it's easy for us to say just leave, but we don't think about that it could cause by childhood abuse. 100% abused turned abuser. Yep. I appreciate you being here tonight, Jeremiah. I really do. Batgirl, Jeremiah is like, I've known Jeremiah since we were in grade school. We were best friends back before he moved out of state. You want to come up on panel, Jeremiah? You don't have to show your face to everybody if you don't want. I don't really care. Batgirl, you want to come up on panel? Jeremiah, you want to come up on panel with me? If not, it's fine. I can handle it by myself. My hair's not done. Well, then I won't turn your camera on. How about that? So you don't even need to worry about your hair, Jeremiah. Number 3. Number 3. Let's see. We're right there. Now we're here. Jeremiah, Batgirl is the new friend of mine out of the UK. Okay, number 3. They may feel inadequate. People who are abused as children may believe on some deep level that they are not good enough to deserve a genuinely caring relationship. They may feel in a submissive position to others, making it hard to accept real love. They may have even been convinced by their abuser that they deserve the abuse. This is never true, as no one deserves to be mistreated. Facts. Number 4, they may feel grandiose. Strange as it may seem, people who were abused may counterreact to feelings of inadequacy by believing that they are better than others. They may have a hard time respecting other people as equals. They feel that they are in a superior position to others, making it hard to enter a mutually loving, respectful relationship. They may even feel superior to some people and inferior to others, engaging in abusive relationships at the same time they are being abused by others. What's up, brother?
What's up, buddy?
I can't hear you. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Right. What's up, brother? How are you?
Good. How you doing?
You know I'm good. Today I am good. Today I am good.
I'll turn my cam on. Yeah, figure this out. There we go.
Did you get it? There you go. What's up, bro?
What's up, buddy?
Well, I guess since you got your damn camera on, I guess I better turn mine on too.
Well, I had to put a shirt on just for you, bro.
Oh, well, you know. I appreciate it.
I'm like, I just got home.
Yeah, how was work today?
It's good. Kids are crazy. Good. Kids are absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Spring break wasn't long enough.
Yeah.
We still got 6 feet of snow here. We're tired of the snow.
Yeah, we got almost 2 foot of snow here 2 nights ago.
Dude, it is insane. Up in our mountains, we've had 811 inches this season.
Holy shit.
Broke all the records.
That's some snow, man.
Stupid global warming.
Yeah, right. Right. So you know that April is sexual abuse awareness month, right?
I did not know that. Do they have like a certain color that represents this month?
I've heard it was purple, but it's like almost like a baby blue color.
Gotcha.
It's baby blue, but some people go with purple, but I like blue myself.
Yeah, there's probably specific to like certain organizations and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's something we don't get to talk about this at elementary schools. We're not allowed to we used to be able to give good touch, bad touch speeches, but they stopped doing that, and I'm not sure why.
It's because parents out there don't feel comfortable with teachers and shit talking to their kids, because they're starting to figure out that there's a lot of teachers out there that are participating in sexually abusing children.
Well, when we used to have those meetings, I would get a flood of kids that realized that they were being abused, and I think that was part of the problem why it stopped too, is because it was seen as family interference.
Yeah. So I'm working on a grant. I'm working on this grant right now. It's for quite a few different things possible. And one of those things that they want to concentrate on is finding out a way to educate children at a young age about sexual abuse without having to go into the schools themselves.
Gotcha.
And I mean,
where
as much as I'd like to sit here and say,
because they're trying so hard in mainstream media and in TV shows to make certain things seem like it's okay. And that's what we're fighting against. That's what you're fighting against right now.
Yeah, they're trying to normalize that behavior, and it's not okay.
100% they are. 100%.
So one of my ideas I got going on is, since parents don't want, I mean, I don't feel my kids are well educated when it comes to sexual abuse. You know what I mean? Would I personally have a problem with teachers talking to my kids about sexual abuse? Depends on the age. Depends on the age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my idea I got is to put packets together, very informative packets together, to send home sealed. You know what I mean? With each student to take home to their parents or their guardians, to give their, because a lot of times the problem is the parents don't want to talk to their children about sexual abuse and sexual awareness because they're embarrassed. They don't know how to approach it. They don't know what to say. So if sit down together and put together a packet of how to approach a child at different ages and whatnot, it's a way to help get the word out there and create awareness about abuse. And it's also a way to make parents feel more comfortable about talking to their kids about abuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good idea. There's a lot of new elements though involved in this. For the first time, 2 weeks ago, we started giving child trafficking awareness presentations at the elementary school because we are getting so many kids from out of country that some of them don't even know that they've been a victim of child trafficking. And that's insane. I was like, what is this presentation on? Because they asked me to go sit in a class with some kids in case we had some, emotions. And they're like, yeah, it's on child trafficking. I'm like, what? But in the last month, we've gotten 30 kids from Peru.
Wow.
So yeah, we're getting a lot of kids.
Wow. And unfortunately, a lot of people, from what I've seen myself, from the research and shit I've done, most people think when you hear the word human trafficking or child sex trafficking, what action do you picture? What picture comes to your mind? What comes to mind to you? What are they doing that comes to mind to you? You know what I mean? Not the physical act of sexually abusing them, but the actual act of trafficking them.
Yeah, they're being sold. These kids are being sold for sex. But I don't think we see those kids ever again. I think those kids are killed.
A lot of them we don't ever see again.
Yeah.
What I've learned and I've seen, a lot of people think that trafficking literally means moving a person from state to state or from one country to the next country. Yes, that's included in trafficking, but trafficking, you don't have to even be moved out of your own home to be trafficked. If they got people, if their parents or their guardian has people coming in and abusing these children, that's traffic. That child is being trafficked, and they don't even have to leave their home. So a lot of people's misconception there is, like, well, in order to be trafficked, they got to be transported from A to B, and it's not right.
That's a good point. I don't think people realize that it can be local. It doesn't have to be that they're being moved.
Yeah. I mean, they don't even have to leave the house to be trafficked.
Yeah.
So, and it's a common misconception. Like, there's a lot of things out there that a lot of parents and a lot of guardians and a lot of adults don't even dawn on them. Like, you know what I mean? They're just like, well, this is trafficking, so this is how it is, and and shit, their neighbor is trafficking their children right there, and they don't ever even leave the house. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think Batgirl, she just said that too. Some are trafficked by family. I think that's probably more common than we realize.
Oh yeah. Like another thing that gets me is a lot of parents, a lot of adults don't realize that they're like, well, I don't let my child go around strangers, so the chances that they're going to be sexually abused are like really minimum. No, it's not how it works. Like, most parents most parents don't let their kids go around strangers. So the opportunity for their child to be sexually abused by a stranger is like 9%.
Mm.
91% of all sexual crimes committed against children are committed by a family member inside the home, right there. Their uncles, their niece, their uncles, their aunts, their brother, their, you know what I mean? All
Yeah.
inside the family. And people don't realize that. And it's like, well, think about it. How often do you let your kids go run around with fucking strangers?
Yeah.
I didn't.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like, my kids never hung out with strangers until they went to school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, like what you were talking about before, when these kids get into adulthood and they seek out the same type of abusive relationships that they had, as an adult, we don't think of that. Like my comment was, I've known lots of girls that are in these shitty ass relationships, and I'm like, why don't you just fucking leave? Just leave. Never once did it occur to me that it could be caused by some trauma in childhood. So I appreciate this awareness because that never occurred to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's done.
Like, a lot of people are like, right now, as we're having this conversation right now, there are multiple children being trafficked, being sexually assaulted, right now as we're talking, somebody is violating an innocent child, destroying an innocent child's life, man. You know what I mean? And people just don't look at it like I do. Most people don't, you know what I mean? And
I work with kids, and I have suspicions that there are certain kids being abused, but until they say something, there's nothing I can do about it, even though I have my suspicions and stuff, and it bothers me to no end, drives me absolutely bonkers.
Yep.
I'm like, just tell me,
Yeah, right.
I can help you. You just fucking say something,
Yep. And how hard, okay. Give a little bit of an introduction about what you do. I mean, you don't have to say where you work or any of that shit, just give the viewers an insight on what you do, and then the impact of knowing that some of these kids are being sexually abused and you can't do shit about it.
Yeah, so for the last like 8-9 years, I've worked as a behavioral health assistant in a couple elementary schools. And so, my role is to help kids that have behavior problems in class. Specifically, I was like working with just one kid, and then it moved to any kid. And what's kind of crappy is it's all about funding, depending on who I can work with. If they're special education kids, I have to get paid by. If I'm getting paid by special education grant, I can't work with kids who aren't in special ed, and vice versa. So that's kind of crappy.
Right.
But anyway, kids will come to us. They're in crisis. They're having problems in class, and our job is not to discipline. That's not our job. Our job is to feed our kids or give our kids a place to. What is that? What color is that? I can't see that color.
It's teal. It's teal.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good. But our job is just to provide the student a safe place to decompress where we don't make them do their work that they're working on. We don't discipline. We just give them a place to decompress. That's what we do. And to talk or whatever they need just to relax. So we do work with a lot of kids, and we are aware of their family history, aware of abuse. But we also have psychologists at our school. We have social workers at our school. And so those kids that we know about, they're getting the help, but it's the kids that we don't know about. Those are the ones that I really worry about, So
Yeah, and how does what are some of the feelings that you have personally experienced knowing, I mean, not knowing that a child's being abused, but knowing a child, I mean, how long you've been working in this, at this profession now?
Forever, dude. I've been working in education since I graduated high school, and way back in 1998.
1998. You know,
Um,
so
yeah,
you've seen, you've personally dealt with, easily to say, hundreds of thousands of
yeah.
kids, right?
Anger
So
is the first thing that I deal with when a kid tells me his anger, and I get, but I can't show it. I get super emotional. There's usually a breakdown where I will cry. Um, I've cried with students because their stories of when they're telling you is just so uh and the anger. I'm like, if this person that's doing this to this child walks in right now, I'm going to jail. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of this person. So
yeah,
I hate that. And I can always tell when something's coming because the tone of their voice when the kid comes up to talk to me is always the same. The way they say Mr. Jeremiah, and I can just tell. I'm like, shit, you know.
today's a
But
bad day.
I'm happy that they're going to confide in me so I can get the wheels going to help them. But you just have to emotionally you're never prepared really, you know,
Yeah,
but you stay strong for those kids. You know,
yeah, yeah.
so you gotta do.
It's it's just a real mess. It's just a real fucked up situation all the way around. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, but I have kids that, come back that are in high school and everything, and they tell me how much they appreciate, and they'll tell me things that I did that I didn't even realize were a big deal to them, just listening or
Right,
doing something. And that's amazing.
right.
I'm reading here what Batgirl wrote. 90% of abusers are people children know, love, and trust. 34% are abusers by family members. 50% are by someone outside the family, but they know and trust. What's really hard is when the abuser is because somebody their own age can be an abuser. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
turn kids in who have molested other kids their age, um, because there's no way that those kids would know how to do the things that they're doing if that didn't happen to them. There's no way.
yeah.
You
So are you trying to sit here and tell me that you also believe that becoming a pedophile is a learned behavior?
Um, it could be. I mean, if somebody's conditioned their whole childhood, okay, I don't want to say the name of him, but that friend that we grew up with,
Right.
who was abused by a family member and who brought people over and abused him. He grew up and abused somebody. I do not believe that would have happened if he wouldn't have been abused as a child. I really don't.
Right.
But the abuse was so horrific. And when he reached out for help and his parents dropped the ball on that big time, they just kept it in the family and left it up to their church officials, and that's where it ended.
Yeah.
I really believe if he would have got help back then, he would not be in prison now. I really do.
I agree.
But there
I
are
agree.
people that are just fucking evil, just pure fucking evil. His brother, now I don't know his brother's backstory, but in my mind, his brother is that evil person, But
Right.
I have to think now, was this a learned behavior from his brother? Was there somebody doing this to his brother? You know?
Right. So, I mean, from my personal experience, you know what I mean? I mean, like I didn't grow up to be an abuser,
Right.
even though, some people want to accuse me of it right now.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, um, I know that the abuse for me started the summer I turned 5, ended the summer I turned 12. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Um, and if I wouldn't have, I don't know. I don't know what I don't. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what it was that made it. Oh, I don't know what it was that for me, like, I mean, after I knew it was wrong, I didn't want anybody else to experience that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know. My camera and everything just shut off.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. But
You got your dog there. I got a cat. Oh, he ran off. I was like, my cat's laying right here.
he's such a camera hog. Like he just
He's
he
like, look at me. Look at me.
and he does. And look at like see let's even get him. Look. He's got look at his underbite and his overbite.
Oh,
Look like this one.
geez. Look at him. What's your dog's name?
Noya.
Noya.
Yeah,
What is
Noya.
Does it got Chihuahua in it? Or like, what kind of dog is that?
He's a full-blooded Chihuahua, man.
Oh, is he? He just looks big,
Yeah.
I guess, on camera.
No, he is kind of the big Chihuahua, but he's full-blooded Chihuahua.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But what do you need, sir?
But I understand what you're saying.
Huh?
You know.
What does it say on the container? Just a second, bro.
Yeah.
Let me see it. My daughter's having a hair crisis.
Oh my god, me too.
Yeah, me too. You know, look at that shit.
What?
I think it's for old people.
Born in the 1900s.
Ammonia free. Ultralight sun blonde. New Nomex formula. Number one color. Blah, 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 blah.
Does it look like it's working at all? I haven't put some on my shirt and it's not bleaching.
How long do you have it in your hair?
Like 10 minutes?
Well, how long does it take? I'm sure it
It
takes.
says 35, but it's not letting me at all.
honey, okay? You have to have patience.
I
Okay.
didn't do this last time.
Well, how dark is your hair now, sweetheart?
Yeah, but it should work.
Honey, it's been 10 minutes and it says
Guys,
35.
we'll see. It's not going to work.
Okay, want to bet?
Yes.
Okay, what do you want to bet? If it works, okay, $20. $20. If it works, you shave your head bald. Well, that's how serious I am. Okay. Oh no. I hope it don't work.
Dude, I was
I was
just at
owe you $20 to see you bald.
yeah. Dude, I was just at somebody's house and they have 9 kids and they're all girls.
Oh my man.
I was like, what did you do?
You really pissed God off or something.
Yeah, he's like, we really have some emotional moments here.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. Yeah, hang on. I gotta get the foil from my daughter, and I'm gonna make a joke about that. But maybe she's gonna use the foil, you know.
I'm reading what you wrote here, Batgirl. Childhood abuse can result in changes in the brain structure, traumatic experience. Oh yeah, I believe that. I had a conversation with Aaron here a little while ago about a girl that I worked with, who she was really a happy girl. She always talked to me, and then all of a sudden, she was super angry. She started dressing way differently, covering herself up. Her clothes were way too big for her. And she started treating me like shit. Like, I was like, what is the matter with you? You know, we were like buddies. We were doing work together. Now all of a sudden she was not very nice to me at all. But then I found out bad stuff was happening to her. And so in her mind, all guys were terrible.
Yep.
So,
yep.
And then she moved. I have no clue what happened to her.
Hope she's all right, man. That girl's a survivor of 19 years of domestic violence. So
that happened, Batgirl. Love the name Batgirl, by the way.
Oh yeah, she's got a counterpart out there flying around, goes by the name of Batboy. He's a little dickwad, but anyway.
My kid's gamer tag was Batkid forever. I think it's still Batkid. Yeah, he's 18 years old and I still think it's Batkid. Gamer tag. Probably because it costs $20 to change it. But,
probably.
You know, I can't give you guys something that's cool though about working with children. That'll make you happy. we've gotten all these kids in lately that don't speak any English, but recess is universal language. These kids play together, they laugh, and they can't understand a lick of what each other are saying, but they play together and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's universal language.
Yeah, you don't have to be able to verbally
Nope.
communicate with somebody to play. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Like everybody
little
knows how to
kid-
play hopscotch and tag, and shit,
Yep.
come on.
This little kid came up behind me today and tapped me, and I turned around and he was shaking his butt and had his hands up on his ears, waving them at me. I said, "What are you doing?" And he just laughed and ran away and didn't. He was saying whatever he was saying in Spanish. I had no clue what he was saying to me, but he was just having the time, and it's so cool to see kids play like that,
Yeah.
And,
I remember when we were growing up and shit. Like, I did a live last night, and I really went. You should go back and watch it.
Oh, cool.
It was either last night or the night before last. But I remember like recess was like the one time that I could cut loose and have fun. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
School was a bitch for me. You know what I mean? Getting bullied
Yeah.
and shit by certain people at school and shit, and then going home and my dad was drunk all the time when I was younger and shit, and then being sexually abused by his best friend, his cousin. You know what I mean? Like, recess was the shit. Like, that's one thing that was enjoyable for me as a kid.
We don't realize how much we took it for granted. I tell kids all the time in elementary school, I say, go play. They want to stand around me and talk and whatever. I said, go play. I said, you're going to spend your whole life having boring ass conversations as an adult. I said, go play. Because recess ends when they go into junior high. They just get a lunch break and that's it. So I tell them all the time, go play. Go play.
You're going to have plenty of time to be a boring ass adult for the rest of your damn life.
Plenty of time. Yeah.
Yep.
So
that girl
spend your whole adulthood trying to get those experiences back, wishing that you could go back, and we don't.
Yep. That girl says abused children forget how to be children. And
absolutely, it's robbed. Their childhood's robbed from them.
Yeah. And this is something that my counselor and I have been recently working on, like sitting back and thinking about it, besides playing, besides playing two square and Powerball and shit and back in sixth grade and shit, like that was my childhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
dude, I love two square. That was great until we got banned for fighting with the sixth
Remember
graders.
how we all marched out? We were all like, we're protesting this shit.
Yeah. I can't remember the rules of two square though. Like, did we capture people from the other team, or did we just get them out if we caught the ball?
It was just getting them out.
So I keep thinking I'm going to teach the kids at the elementary school because they play four square.
Yeah. We just came up with our own shit. Like the super slam and then the baby drop, and just every time the opposing team didn't catch the ball, we scored a point. You know what I mean?
That's what I thought.
And
we'd use those little basketballs until they start getting the welts on them and eventually explode.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've seen those little balls bounce off of people's fucking faces. Like they serve it with their face over the ball and it boom, 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 bam! Dude, I used to laugh my ass off so bad when that would happen. Dude, it's crazy, those things. But you know what?
Yeah.
You do remember those things more. I remember recesses. It's just certain memories stick in your head, like when me and you walked into the girls' maturation class. That will forever be burned into my brain.
That's forever etched in my brain.
Stuff like that, going trick-or-treating with people and hanging at your house, biking everywhere. Your paper route that I took over.
Paper route that I took over.
Yeah, you remember? Oh, that's right. I took it from Jeff. I now remember. I thought I had taken it from you.
You took it from Jess, and then I took it from you when you moved to Utah. Yeah.
Dude, there was this woman on the route. She was, you remember where Jess lived, and this woman lived on his side of the street, but she was like the first house on his street. She's
Mhm.
this old lady, and I was a fat kid with lots of red hair and a rat tail, and she would say, "Are you a boy or a girl?" And I used to go, "What?"
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I remember her. She gave me shit for a long time too. She jumped on the whole Willow bandwagon too, because me and my feathered hair like Willow, and
You totally did look like Willow.
shut up, nah.
You shouldn't have brought that up because I'm thinking now, yeah, I can totally see it. Oh, speaking of Willow,
Yep.
they came out with a new series on the Disney Channel called Willow, and I tried to watch it, but it was terrible acting for one thing, and they've already canceled it. It's so bad.
Yeah.
But Disney self-imploded themselves.
Yep.
Sorry,
Yep.
Batgirl. When me and Aaron get together, we go off on these tangents of reminiscing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I invited her up on panel. You can come up on panel too, Batgirl. We can have a three-way conversation here.
no, nowadays you can be both. Yeah. Yeah. We're dealing with that on the elementary level too. And I honestly believe if we just because it's these crazy ass adults when kids are, I think every kid goes through identity issues. They're trying to figure out who they are. I think we just need to let that happen naturally. It's these adults telling them, "Oh, you're transgendered. Oh, you're this, you're that." They're trying to make these kids their idea of what they think they are, instead of just letting these kids naturally come into whatever they're going to be. And
I mean, look, our parents let us grow up to be naturally what we're gonna be. Like, we didn't turn out bad,
gave us free range, man. We were
I mean,
free range all over the place.
Yeah.
We went everywhere, dude. I remember I used to walk to my grandparents' house. I was getting chased by this damn dog. I was scared to death of dogs. And when I was a
still
kid,
am.
and I jumped this hedge trying to get away from this dog, and there was another fucking dog right over that hedge. Oh,
Yep.
man.
Yep. I've been bit 26 times by different dogs.
Damn.
Yeah.
Batgirl
They
says
just
no
think I'm a
wonder
big
kids
old
are
fucking
messed up.
jerky treat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Batgirl, I've had students, and I used to be a scout leader and stuff, and friends, and where their dads have come out as gay, and I have a lot of female friends whose husbands came out as gay. And I support gay people and all that stuff, but they're all around my age and our age, me and Aaron's age, and in our generation, that kind of stuff really wasn't acceptable. So I kind of feel like some of people our age just got into relationships, into marriages, because that's what you're supposed to do, and you didn't want to disappoint your family and stuff like that. So I do feel for everybody in that situation, for the wife and for the husband and the children. It's rough. It is rough.
Yeah.
But it's different. I think it would have a different effect on a child if one of your parents was transgendered and was changing. It would be very confusing, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. It'd probably be a lot harder. It'd probably be a lot harder on a child too, if they're like, their mom and dad are together for whatever, certain, 5-10 years, up till the kid's like 6, 7, 8 years old or whatever, and then the dad or the mom comes out as being gay, and then
it would be very confusing.
It'd probably be really hard. It's just. I mean, to each their own. If you want to be transgender, be transgender. I don't care. It doesn't impact me. If you want to be homosexual, be homosexual. I don't care. I'm good with it. You know what I mean? What somebody does at home is their business. So like,
right. No, nobody had. I follow a lot of people. Well, I was following. I got rid of all my social media, by the way. It was just stressing me out too much. But some of the people I were following that are gay, they were saying and they're like our age. They're like, these are not the rights that we fought for. This is not, they're not associating with that community anymore, because once they started involving children, that's when everybody started to take notice. Nobody had a problem with that society until they started involving children.
Yeah. I mean, full-fledgedly. But I'm gonna get back to this real quick. Hang
sorry.
tight. You're fine. You're fine. I get. You know how I get sidetracked real easy, especially when I'm talking to you. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
So number 5, they may be sexually aroused by abusive behavior. Sexual arousal is a normal human experience and is often a normal response to sexual contact. In some cases, if early sexual experiences involved abuse, survivors may become sexually aroused by abusive behavior. Hence, BDSM and down the line. This does not mean they want or wanted to be abused, or that they are genuinely enjoying the abuse. Not all survivors of abuse experience violence, which that's true. Number 6, they feel angry. People who have been abused may carry a lot of anger about what happened to them. Abuse can be a way to express that anger. Even if they have pushed the anger out of their conscious awareness, it can come out in subtle or not so subtle ways in intimate relationships or parenting styles. Facts. They feel number 7. They feel insecure. If abuse and hurt feel inevitable, people who have been abused may view sexual relationships as predatory and react with avoidance or hostility towards parents and suitors. People who experienced abuse early in life may have formed an avoidance attachment style in childhood. This may cause them to avoid forming close relationships in adulthood, which can lead to behaviors such as pushing others away or responding to attempts at closeness with anger. Number 8, they are searching for intensity. They are searching for intensity. When children are traumatized through sexual abuse, they may associate or confuse intensity with pleasure. I think it's supposed to say intimacy, but it says intensity. Okay. So they may be attracted to abusive individuals and high-risk activities in order to feel pleasure, as they need the rush of danger in order to feel aroused or to experience the orgasm. Number 9, they want to avoid reality. Now, this was a big one for me when I was being abused. This is like, reality sucks, man. You know what I mean? So number 9, they want to avoid reality. Because abuse is so painful, people who have been abused may cope by retreating into a fantasy world. This may include idolizing others to the point where abusive partners are seen as wonderful, or others are abused as a result of the overwhelming disappointment felt when they cannot live up to the fantasy. Summary of these facts. There are many factors that can contribute to the ongoing cycle of abuse. People who experience sexual abuse as children may struggle with confusing associations between love and abuse. They may also experience problems with anger, trust, control, and insecurity. It is important to remember that every person is different, and not everyone who is sexually abused will experience these effects. So those are the nine factors, 9 reasons why the cycle of abuse continues on from childhood into adulthood. I can personally say that I have seen every one of these, not personally in my own personal life, but of friends and relatives and myself, I fit into a couple of these categories myself. You know what I mean? So what do we do about it? You know what I mean? What do we do about it? We start right here. We start
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah. I was thinking of too is like how do you correct that? You know, that feeling a need to feel wanted. What Batgirl just said.
Yeah.
It's because you think mental health in this country is so not paid attention to like it needs to be.
Yeah.
Insurance companies don't support mental health. Um, we're getting police at every school in my district next year, but every school doesn't have a counselor.
What's wrong with that picture?
It's I'm very grateful to have the police at our school. We
Right.
need it, but we
Right.
also need mental health professionals at school.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We really do.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I 100% agree. And as an adult, you're being abused by adults for what happened to you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just
And people don't feel compassion for people suffering from mental abuse and mental illness. They're overlooked. There's so many kids. My job is to be aware of kids that are not fitting in or singling themselves out. I'll notice a kid that's sitting all by themselves, and I'll grab other kids, and I'm like, who is that sitting out there? I don't know. They're always by themselves. I'm like, well, why don't you go ask them to play? Okay. And they go out there, but they don't see them until, and those kids don't want to be seen either.
they're pointed out.
Yeah, you have to tell them.
Yep.
It's sad. I'll watch kids where they don't want to be interacted with, so I'll just take a group with me and stand in close proximity and have conversations and play. We'll start a game close to that student, and just try to see if we can get them to take
Kind of
interest
suck them in.
Yep. And then after
Yeah.
they start playing, I just wander away. I
There you
just go away and let those kids build those relationships, because I want them to build relationships, like we built when we were kids, that last forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like with us,
Yeah.
we don't see each other. We haven't seen each other we haven't seen each other in real life, only on Zoom for years, but we can still just jump right back into conversations and
Since
stuff
what,
like
8th
that.
grade?
Yeah, and
Since 8th grade?
I want them to have those type of experiences too, build those bonds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think it's important.
You and I, you and I became friends at a very fucked up point in time in my life, man. Like you being my friend literally helped me get to where I'm at today. You know what I mean? Like,
I appreciate that.
Like, go back, just do me a favor, Jeremiah, and go back and watch my live from last night or the night before last. It's called it's on the same channel.
Okay.
It's called Secrets Will Be Revealed. Be careful.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now. It's a trigger warning. You know what I mean?
It's rough. Okay.
It is. But I felt that I needed to do this. I felt that I needed to do it because I was still holding. Here I am, a 43-year-old man, and I'm trying to make a difference in the world of sexual abuse.
Yeah.
And
the world's trying to normalize it. That's what's driving me crazy.
And here I am telling people, secrets are bad. Don't keep secrets and shit. And then, my wife and I will be celebrating 17 years of marriage in July. And
Nice.
there's shit that happened to me when I was sexually abused that I never told anybody, including my wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was still hypocritical. Here I am telling people, on my lives and stuff and on my channel, You know, don't hold those secrets. Don't, you know,
Yeah.
let them out. And I was here. I was holding them in. So I 90% of why I did it was for the progression of myself, for the betterment
Yeah.
of myself. The other 10% is because now I can't wait to see your face on this, but
Oh, great.
because there were some people out there that were recently, they didn't come out and exactly say these words, but they were insinuating that I was a woman beater and a pedophile.
Because you're bringing awareness to the situation.
Something. Well,
Yeah,
I had a
that's
game.
it.
Well, because, you know, I mean, I had a game night with my kid, and you know, he's 16 years old. A lot of parents wouldn't say what they, you know what I mean. We played a game of Monopoly. I got accused of chopping up lines of drugs with my kid right here and shit, and like, you know what I mean. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Come on, man. You know what I mean?
Dude,
So some
yeah.
things were said, and I might have said some things because you know me. You know, I get a little bit hyped up and shit, and you know, I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know. So what? I told my son. Lick my balls. I mean, did I pull my balls out and tell him to really lick my balls? No, we were playing a game of Monopoly.
And
I
then,
mean,
see that's I don't even know what to say. That's
Yeah.
the world that we're in. That is the world
Yep.
that we're in. You know?
Yep.
It was insane. Somebody was crying the other day in my office, and one of the other employees that I work with grabbed a tissue and wiped a tear from their face, and that person freaked out that they touched them. So we all had to, like, okay, we'll write statements. We were your witness. This wasn't an inappropriate thing. It it was, you know, somebody trying to be compassionate, and then it turns into that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't even show compassion to anybody anymore.
No, like Batgirl just says you're getting bashed for telling your story. You
Yep.
know, what the other thing that I've also worried about is that these sick ass people that do these type of things will love to hear your experiences. That's the dark side, I think, of
Yep.
this. But I don't know.
Yep. You know, and another main reason I did another main reason why I opened up about it. I mean, I've told little bits. I mean, I've even told you little bits about what's
Yeah.
happened to me and shit. You know, and like there's there are so many men out there right now that have been sexually abused in their childhood and even into their adulthood that will never come forward about their abuse because it's shameful, because they look at themselves as disgusting, or just all kinds of, as a man, especially when you're a boy and you get molested and raped by a man, it has an extra disgust impact to you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you know what I mean? And nobody should go through their whole entire life carrying that kind of weight on their shoulders and that kind of guilt for not doing anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. And I'm hoping that some people will see that I'm out here telling my story like I did last night, and it gets to them and like, fuck, this guy just told me that. This guy just said that happened to him right here on, like, the whole fucking world's gonna know what happened to him.
Yeah.
And you're talking, but what? I'm on a mission to change, and if that's what I got to do to change it, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. No, and I appreciate the things you do and your experiences, because it's made me work better with the kids that I work with, because, you know, the experiences, you know, everybody handles that certain situation, the abuse, differently, but your point of view and your experiences help me understand what they've gone through, you know, how they could be dealing with it, what their defense mechanisms could be, you know, into that. So no, I really appreciate this stuff that you do, because it really helps me work better with children who've been abused. You know, gives me a better understanding. So,
Well,
and she's
thanks for
right. Bad
saying that.
girl's right. You're welcome. They says there's a problem with society, no compassion.
Yep.
There isn't. You know, when you see what they go crazy over, mental illness and abuse is just overlooked. Like people, I don't know why it's so taboo to help somebody
Yeah.
that's been that. It feels like they blame the victim.
Yeah. When we live in a world where a victim can come forward and that victim becomes re-victimized by other
Yeah,
pieces of shit,
yeah. No wonder they don't come forward.
what the fuck?
Yeah, and I still think that's hard for guys. But so I've been dealing with these kids at the junior high. They've had a really yeah, Batgirl, I have a channel, but my channel is alls I do is make slideshows for schools. But these junior high kids, they are so sexually active. They're having sex at school in their bathrooms, with it's just insane. I just don't even get it, dude. That's not even what I was thinking about when I was in junior high.
Right.
I remember when we were in school, the biggest like compliment was when we let girls wear our coats, and then the coats would come back with notes in them and smelling like shitty ass perfume.
Right.
That
Yep.
was like the biggest thing. Not like, hey, let's go to the bathroom and have sex.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was down. I was down for making out with my girlfriends and shit. As you know what I mean, because that's
Yeah.
just what we did. You know what I mean. But I never thought about going and having
No,
sex with them in the bathroom in 7th grade.
no. And these kids I tell them all the time, like, you kids are breaking my heart. Okay, that you should be, but the education system, there's so many things that our education sucks ass. We're nothing but a daycare center now. I'm like, oh, educating, and it's important. Yeah, that's true. That's good. I'm working on a slideshow right now for a school. I love making these slideshows. I get pictures and videos from these schools and then get to put them together. The hardest part is trying to find music that's appropriate. It's hard to find music
Yeah.
that doesn't talk about drugs, doesn't talk about sex. Yeah.
Talk about gangbanging. Talk about hurting
Yeah.
people.
I can use songs from the 80s, but the kids don't fucking like those songs.
Right.
You
Right.
know? I used Footloose in one of them, and they were like, "What is this shit?" Sorry.
Won't do
But
that. Won't make that mistake again.
yeah, I thought it was great. I was like, "This is great. Look at what
Oh,
the
they're
best
tapping your
thing."
feet.
Yeah.
You know.
The best thing is it doesn't matter. They don't know. They don't hear any music when we do these videos of them just dancing. I'm like, show me your Fortnite dance, do whatever. And then I put it to music later. They're just dancing. They don't have any music when they're doing it, but it always matches up with the music great. So it's always fun
Nice.
to do that. I love doing that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
kick ass. There's a lot of
Yeah.
good,
So you ready for?
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say
No,
there's a
go
lot
ahead.
of good. There's a lot of good too in education. I think I just focus on the bad because it's so much greater than it used to be now.
Yeah, and it's just so much more prevalent. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
turn on the TV, turn on the news, and see something good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
See something positive.
they don't do that anymore. I even deleted on my local news app because that's all the notifications were. It was just anytime there was an accident or a shooting. We have a lot of shootings here. It's crazy how many shootings we have here in my town. I'm just like, my God. And and that's become normalized. You're like, oh,
Yep.
another shooting happened.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
that's I don't know. I take a lot of vapes away, at the elementary school. Um, Fighting is getting really bad. So, these kids are fighting on purpose, though. Yeah, I don't remember like fighting people on purpose. I remember like wrestling and stuff, but I don't remember. Okay, let's fight. Have a full out fist fight.
If we were
Like they're
if we were getting in a
recording.
fight, it's because if we were getting in a fight, it's because
Yeah,
one of us pissed the other one off real good.
yeah. And it was
Yeah,
like serious, but
it's like
it-
we're fucking fighting now, buddy.
yeah. But now they're recording it and they're making. So at the local junior high that I have, they make these there's all these websites on Instagram that say like ugly people of this school and um fights from this school. Well, it's got the school's name in it, and some of these dumbass fucking parents think that it's the school's websites. I'm like, the schools are not creating these websites, it's your goddamn kids. Look at your kids' social media, take these phones away. Like phones should be illegal until they're 18. That's what I say. Take them away.
I agree.
They can have flip phones.
I
That's
agree.
it. Nothing that can access the internet. Nothing that can take pictures. Like, oh. But I got rid of TikTok. I got rid of Facebook, Instagram, everything.
I was wondering why you haven't been TikToking me any kind of things.
Yeah, I was too stressed out. That school shooting that just happened, and this is gonna go into like conspiracy theory. I watched the video of the shooter coming into the school, and then I watched the body cam, and they shot and killed the shooter, and then they went over the top of the shooter. Well, then somebody pointed out in another video that shooter is wearing different shoes when they come in that building than in that body cam footage. And sure as shit they are. People even identified the shoes. That shooter's wearing black and white Pumas coming through that door. You can see it clear as day. And then in the body cam, that shooter is wearing black and white Vans with yellow and red flames on them. Wow. And I'm just so tired of not being able to believe anything anymore. And then one of the news stations, because it became a big issue about the shoes, one of the news stations says, oh, the cameras were so high def that it had to get rid of the color. It was compressing the colors. I'm like, that's such bullshit. High def shows color. High def show. It's high definition for a reason. Oh, I just couldn't handle it. So I'm like, I'm done with this. And then the kids in Tennessee, all these high school kids marched onto their capital to protest gun control. That's fine. But those kids don't understand that they should focus on bullying, the mental health of these other kids. Be aware of these kids that are struggling and who's bullying who, and become friends with people and nurture each other. That's going to solve a lot of problems right there. That's going to solve a lot of suicides. It's going to solve a lot of it. You can blame the tool that they use to commit these actions with, but that's never going to solve anything. You can take it away. People are still going to kill people. People are still going to kill themselves.
I mean,
everybody.
You can take an automatic weapon and load it and cock it and sit it in the middle of the road, and as long as nobody touches it, it will never hurt nobody.
No. Nope.
Never. It'll sit there and then rust away and then into nothing eventually without ever hurting anybody. So
they don't blame the alcohol for somebody who's got alcoholism. They blame that person, and that person's always looked down on. They're never like, we need to help this person. They have a mental issue. They're an alcoholic. They don't care about that. Don't care about that. That person's choosing to do that. And my cat finally come up here.
Oh, kitty!
His
Feed me, Dad.
Yeah, he wants
his name is what?
Thug.
Thug?
Yeah, he was he just showed up here one day, super malnutritioned and all. I think when we had our earthquake, he probably bolted from wherever he really was, and then he was homeless forever. And we took him in, and he's been here since. Yep, we call him Thug.
It's like an OG. He's like, I'm fucking staying here. You're not getting rid of me.
He's a pretty good cat. He was a little feral, but now he's a fat house cat. So.
Hell yeah.
Batgirl says embarrassment is one of the top reasons that kids don't tell. I bet you're right. I bet you're right.
Embarrassment. I mean, for me, I don't know if I ever got to that point of it was embarrassing as more or less as it was my life being threatened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I can tell
But
you
that's,
that it would be a scary thing because, you know, I think I've told you this before, and I'm super ashamed by this, but that friend that we had,
mhm.
he told me, and then I told everybody at school. And it was terrible because I thought, because me and him always hung out and we were such pals, I thought people were going to think that I was like that with, like, it was terrible. I don't know what
Yeah,
my
but
thought process was at the time, but I told everybody. And that
did
was
you
such
do did you do it with the intent to hurt him? You know what I mean? I mean, that's like, you know what I mean? I
yeah,
mean,
no, because we were
well, then
still
there you
friends.
go. Then
We were still friends later, but I didn't know how to cope with that. The information he gave me, I had no clue what he was even talking about. Like, I was like, what? You know,
yeah,
I had no clue what he was talking about.
yeah, it's crazy, and
So
it's
I'll
even way
always feel
worse
bad
now.
about that. I apologized to him as an adult. I did. He forgave me. I appreciate that of him. Um, but because I always felt shitty about that. I always felt shitty. And like
Yeah.
here,
Well,
it
don't. I
was.
mean, we were kids, man.
I know, but still, hindsight, is everything. It's something,
Yeah. Well,
I try to help kids like him, like he was.
yeah.
And so in my own flaws when I was a kid in that situation, it's helped me to, because that has happened because they'll tell their friends or whatever, and I'll tell them, how to be supportive to their friend and how their support really matters and stuff like that. So,
Right. And
but
that's
yeah,
and that's what's important. I mean, and I'm sure if back when we were kids, if our parents would have been involved in, I'm not saying our parents weren't involved in our lives because obviously they were, but if they would have not shied away from the whole sexual abuse thing, maybe the
yeah,
situation with you and this you're speaking of would have turned out totally different. You know what I mean?
yeah, because we never talked
I
about
mean,
that stuff. Never. We didn't talk about it
I
at
mean,
school.
yeah, I mean, and then he tells you this friend tells you and shit, and then you don't have we were never taught on what to do if a friend tells
No,
us and
no,
so I mean you know
no.
it's just
And
fucked
it
up.
goes,
That's why I just
and I don't want to single us out just as being males, but we don't tell that shit. We hide that shit. We have to be strong and we just deal with everything. And that's like when you hear somebody that has committed suicide, you're like, we didn't even know there was a problem.
yeah.
You know?
My son just had he didn't know her that well, but they just had a 16-year-old girl commit suicide the other day.
Oh, so sad. One of your followers
No,
says they're not feeling very well today, and they just wanted to say, hey,
that's Mr. Griff. That's
hey,
Mr. Griff.
I hope
Get
you get
feeling better,
feeling
bro.
better. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
tell you.
It
You
is.
know what?
It is.
Since I got rid of TikTok, my headaches have gone away because I spent
Yeah.
so much fucking time just watching and scrolling and watching and scrolling. It's so
I
addicting.
almost I
Ugh.
almost started the TikTok page like you
Yeah,
suggested, but I kept
yeah,
putting it off and kept putting it off, and now see, I almost created one a couple days ago, and now you abandoned
yeah.
ship, and now I ain't got to do it, so now I feel good.
Yeah, but I'm not trying. Your page, your stuff, your content would help people. Me, I was just watching funny video after funny video after funny video. I'm wasting hours. Like, I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. And then
Yeah.
stuff was pissing me off. This stuff, you know, this is off topic too, but they're trying to shut TikTok down in America because they're saying it's Chinese spyware. But I think I'm sure it is. And one of the issues, though, I
Oh,
think, is our government can't control what we're seeing on there because they're posting this shit in real time. We're seeing
yeah.
stuff happening in real time, and I don't think
Yeah.
our government wants that either. Yep, unfiltered reality. You know, right? What she's saying. But China already announced a new app. If they close TikTok, they have a new app already ready to take its place.
And then they got one for that one when that one gets
Yeah,
closed down, and one for that one. Oh yeah.
yeah. So
Oh yeah.
I do appreciate that we get to see these things happen now in real time, but then again, it was overwhelming for me. It gave me anxiety. What is it doing to these children that are seeing this
Yeah.
shit all the time? You know,
Yep.
those kids are able to see that school shooting basically. You know, that last school shooter shot 152 rounds, they said. It's amazing that only 6 people were killed.
Yeah.
Those teachers in that school must have hit those kids well, you know.
Yeah. For sure.
So,
sure.
whew. And so I don't know. I wish kids weren't subjected to that either, you know. I mean, but in the reality in our world is that's an active threat. When it happens, where I work with students, my whole room is glass. I have every wall around me is glass, and they talk about it. They're like, "What do we do if there's somebody comes in here shooting? Where do we go? Is this glass
Yeah.
bulletproof?" You know,
Yeah.
they're worried about that. But today, because I always start off with discussions. Anybody have any news they want to talk? Anything that's bothering you? That's how I start off all my groups. And they're worried about nuclear war right now. And with China, that's what they're worried about. And I'm like, oh, these poor kids have so much to worry about, but they see
Yeah.
it on these social medias. It's hard, you know. I want them to. I tell parents all the time, you know, take the social media away. Make your kid go outside and play. You know, go out and do things. But anytime we have meetings, the first thing a parent does with their kid is give them a tablet.
Yep.
You know, instead of having them be involved in a meeting about their education, about their class, they get pacified, you know, with an electronic
Yep.
device. That's sad.
Yep. Here's your electronic babysitter.
Yep. But you know, and you're talking about, but I'm kind of bad about it with video games still. I'll sit here and play video games for forever, but I don't know what else to do
Yeah.
anymore.
I like
You know?
my video games too. Still, you know. That's
Mhm.
just kind of, you know, that's just kind of the day and age we grew up in, you know. That shit was brand new for us,
Yeah.
you know. So,
Yeah.
you know.
You got a lot more people showing up on here and chatting. You know, I can't see your chat. It just pops up underneath your video for me.
Yeah,
Because if I
I'm
see,
not sure. Are you on your phone?
yeah, I'm on my phone.
There should
So
be a spot. There should be a spot on there because you're in the back. It'll say it'll say like on the bottom or on the top of the screen. It'll say like
oh, I can see comments.
chat.
I had to switch it to
Yeah,
comments.
and
See
then
what I can see.
click on that. Click on that, and then you can switch. And then it'll just pull it up on your screen. You won't be able to see me that well, but that's okay. I mean, you don't need to see me all that well anyway, you know. But
Yeah. The
but yeah, I
Batgirl
can't.
said kids can't be kids anymore. That's the damn truth.
Yep. Yep.
And it's too bad. It's too bad. Mm.
Yep.
And they
It
banned
is.
everything from the school that I work at. It's so ridiculous because the kids keep fighting. They're not allowed to play. They're not allowed to play soccer anymore. They're not allowed to play football anymore. They take everything away. They can't play tag because that's physical contact, heaven forbid. And then, so then these kids were standing in a circle. I'm like, what are they doing out there? They were having roast battles. Like they were trying to make up their own rap songs and diss each other in it. And I'm like, whatever. Nope, that got banned too. I'm like, my God. We can't go outside because they might get wet in the snow. That drives me
Let's just
crazy
give them
too.
all. Let's just give them all a fucking participation trophy and send them on their way.
Yeah. Yep. Here's the medication. Here's your tablet.
Yep.
We just I feel like we're just teaching these kids to be worker bees, to make the rich richer, and you just go, ugh, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Yep. It is. It
Whole
is.
nother issue. We have too many issues. We just can't. We have too many issues, Aaron.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Yeah. Like I told the people that I work with at the school, I'm like, we can't fix the world, guys. We can't. All we can do is try in our community right here. That
Yeah.
school is our community. That's what we can work for, to
Yeah.
make a positive change in. Oh yeah, Bad Girl says babies and strollers have iPads to keep them quiet. Yep. Yep. When we were kids, Aaron, when we watched TV, we had to watch TV with the family because most of us only had one TV to begin with.
Yeah.
We only had one TV, and at family time, we'd be watching Roseanne or we'd be watching Cosby, and I thought those were great family shows. I thought
Yeah.
Dan was an excellent father. I loved the Cosby shows. I mean, Cosby as himself turned out to be a terrible person, but
Doesn't change the show.
no, the show was great. And then, we got to watch cartoons after school because, Matt, most of us were those latchkey kids, and we come home and watch DuckTales and all that kind of stuff. Yep. But it's just crazy. They're editing older movies now that we grew up with to take out things. They're
Yeah.
throwing on like the Disney Plus channel. All of the old cartoons that we watched have, trigger warnings about racism in all of our cartoons, and you're going to be
Yeah.
offended.
Like, go find a Speedy Gonzalez cartoon.
Yeah. Some
Go
kid
find a
was
Yosemite
upset.
Sam cartoon.
Yeah. I ordered all these cartoons before they got rid of them on DVD, all those Warner Brother cartoons. But a kid come up to me and he was offended because his teacher said that they were Magoos. Well, I wasn't actually sure what Magoos meant. And I says, well, what does that mean? He goes, I don't know, but I'm offended. I says, well, before you're offended, you should find out what it means. And so I had to go into my office and ask the lady I work with. I'm like, what does Magoo mean? She goes, I don't know. I'm like, does it mean like dorky or something? Because all I could think it was Mr. Magoo, you know? And in Liar Liar.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. But it means kind of like rowdy, I guess, is what it's supposed to be. Unruly. And which the kids were. But they were offended right away without even knowing what they were offended for. She was black and white. First color was a plastic screen cover. My first TV was it was a TV that somebody put on the curb to be thrown away. And she said it worked, but the color didn't work. Well, I turned it on and the color was working, but then the color went to green. And if I went up there and I hit the TV really hard, it would go back to color. It's just crazy. Things that we grew up with and we miss in our experiences. And, we think with the children today, if we just give them those same experiences, that it'll be better. But we can't even give them the same experiences that we had anymore. I remember going to Disneyland as a kid. Disneyland's completely different now. They have a different agenda than they did when I was a kid. Or maybe it was the same agenda when I was a kid and I just didn't notice it, but it's sad.
Yeah. I got it now, man. Griff, if this is you, text me and let me know that it's really you. Because I'm putting this person in timeout right now for a minute. If it's you, text me, please, so I know it's you. See, I think there's somebody in here wanting to fucking play around and trying to damage my channel because there's haters out there because what I'm doing is creating awareness about sexual abuse and they have a problem with that because obviously they support pedophilia. That's the only reason why I can come up with why somebody would want to give this channel shit. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Cancel culture and participation awards. One of your followers, Unfiltered Reality. He's so right. He's so right. The problem I have with participation awards is that they treat them like You know, you can't have competition. And in a lot of these little league games anymore, they don't even keep score anymore.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy. You
What's
know,
the fucking point of even playing?
yeah, we keep score.
It's like playing chess without the king and queen on the board.
Yeah, we just nobody can be offended. We can't hurt anybody's feelings. There can't be a loser. There can't be a winner. Everybody is just equal. You know, I'm fine with the participation price if it was like, you know, to represent that you were there. I was there. You know, it's like when we go someplace, we buy a coffee mug that says, you know, I was in fucking Oklahoma or some shit like that. You know,
Yeah.
that's how I see it. I'm reading
Yeah.
this about Teletubbies is awful when you lift the veil. It's a nickname. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I never never heard anything about Teletubbies. I remember seeing Teletubbies years ago and I thought it was so terrible.
I thought it was like going to be the crumble of our society.
Oh my God,
Like,
it was horrible. They'd watch some stupid ass video and then they'd say again, and you'd have to watch the video again. I'm
yeah.
like, yep.
Yeah.
You know, some
Yeah.
kids. So when my kids were younger, I liked Bear in the Big Blue House. I did like that one. I could watch that with them. I enjoyed that one. Could not stand Blue's Clues. My kid loved Blue's Clues. Could not stand that one.
I think that dude was good.
The guy from Blue's Clues. I did not like Teletubbies. Was terrible. Yeah.
I know I wouldn't let him babysit my kid. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just me. I mean, to each their own, but you know.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I did see a study they were doing on kids shows today that they changed scenes and they were using Coco Melon as an example. The scenes lasted less than a second. The scenes were never longer than 2 seconds. So they're changing. So these kids are super overstimulated from these things, lowers the attention span, you know. But everything that we have now is like instant gratification. Shopping online, totally guilty of that. I don't want to leave my fucking house anymore. I can have shit delivered to my house. All I want, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Batgirl, I think if we knew how many weirdos work for Disneyland, oh, it'd be crazy.
You don't want to know my opinion. You don't want to know my honest opinion about Walt Disney, but you know.
I'm so sad about Disney. I really am. I was a Disney kid, loved Disney, and then all this stuff about Disney now, it just and what they're doing to their parks and to their shows, I'm just so sad.
Yeah.
Frustrated.
Yeah. Quit, Noya. Jesus, come on. Make up your damn mind, boy. Come on, Grandpa.
I just wish, I don't know. You know, I go to work and then honestly, when it's done, I just can't wait to get home and disassociate, you know. So
Yeah.
it took a lot of years of me having to leave work at work and not think about it when I'm home, because you know there's really nothing you can do just by worrying all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fresh ginger, what does that mean? I'm
For
a
a
ginger.
cold?
Oh, I was like, that sounds like a cool sign-on
Wrong
name.
kind of ginger. Wrong kind of fresh ginger there, bud.
Yeah, I'm changing my gamer tag right now. How do I change my name on this? I'm gonna be Fresh Ginger from now on.
You got to drop down and then come back in and then type it in.
Oh no, I can edit name right here. Here we go.
Oh, right on. See, now you know more about this than I do.
There. Now it should come up.
Right.
Fresh Ginger. Only 43 years old. Man, I don't know.
43-year-old ginger.
43-year-old ginger. Starting to turn pretty white though. I was looking at my beard the other day.
Yeah,
I was
me
like,
too.
man, damn, what the hell?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
pulled a couple out of my hair a couple of days ago, dude. Motherfucking white hair, like
You're like,
25
what the
inches long.
hell?
I'm like,
How did that
holy
happen?
fuck.
I know.
Yeah, I'm like,
They
what the?
just wake up and I'm like, no. I'm trying to like be healthier now, and uh, it's insane. I did go to a party tonight, and they had fantastic food. If I go out, I'll eat whatever they have. I won't be picky and stuff like that. But at home, I stick to a pretty good diet.
Yeah.
No Twinkies. Who had no Twinkies?
That's the best goddamn food in the world.
Yeah. Where's this person at? They don't have Twinkies where they're at. And I see Chase.
Yeah.
Where's all the innocent? The OO to you. He said, "I'm sad about no Twinkies too."
Yeah, what do you mean? Did they stop making Twinkies again?
No, I don't
I'll
know.
freak out.
All right, who was offended by Twinkies? Jesus. You know what? I will say, I think they've made Twinkies smaller. Last time I had Twinkies,
Oh, they
I was
did.
like, these are pretty small. Thinking,
Like
yeah, or it could
Twinkies
just be
used to be
me.
at least 2 bites. I used to get at least 2 bites in on the Twinkie. Now it's just
Dude, I had to go to daycare
gone.
as a kid, and they put us down for nap time. And I remember laying in this room on a mat with all these other kids, and the lady that was watching us was eating a Twinkie in front of me and all of us. I was just like, what a bitch. She broke it in half, and she's like licking the cream out of it, and she was just savoring that Twinkie. That's another core memory that's burned into my head. Uh-huh. Hi, fresh ginger, yeah. uh
Griff, unfiltered reality. You didn't do anything wrong, man. I just wasn't sure if it was actually you in here or not, man. But you're good, bro. You're good. You didn't get blocked or anything.
I don't see that unfiltered. The last message I see from him, he was talking about Magoo was grumpy. Oh wait, no, he didn't say that. Oh, he said Mr. Magoo. So last thing I see from him.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure if it was actually him because people will go in and take a screenshot of their profile picture and shit and come in and act
Oh,
like
I
they're
got
him,
you.
other people and shit. You know what I mean? Because people are fucked up, man. So
Yeah, that's shitty.
just making sure it was him.
Yeah. Well, bro, I'm gonna go. I gotta go to work in the morning.
All right, man. Yeah.
Good chat.
Check out my live from yesterday or the day before, man.
All right. I'm gonna mentally prepare.
All right, I love you, brother.
All right, love you, man. Talk to you later.
Yep. Okay.
See y'all, people.
Okay, bro.
Good meeting everybody. Thanks to the new gamer tag.
Later, fresh ginger.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I'm going to catch up the chat here real quick. Twinkies were banned. That pisses me off. That's not good. That's enough to start World War III over, I think. Small, and smaller. Yep, for sure. Nobody wants to be him, LOL. Nobody wants to be who? All right, everybody. Shout outs to the chat. Oh, to you, Warrior Nun, Batgirl, Fresh Ginger, Unfiltered Reality, Sugar Glider. You know I love you. Oh, always got to give a shout out to Charlotte's Webbing and everybody else I might have missed. I love you guys. Remember, April is Sexual Abuse Awareness Month. Keep an eye out on each other. Let's keep each other safe in this world. It's a crazy ass world out there, and I have a feeling it's only going to get crazier as we go, especially when nobody wants to do anything about it really and stand by each other and come together as one and make a change for the better. So with that being said, this is Get to Know. I love each and every one of you guys. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out in the community, participating in the chat. Nobody wants to be Griff. What's wrong with Griff? I like Griff. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. But you're right, Warrior Nun. You're right, Warrior Nun. You're right, Warrior Nun. Shout out to you too. Thanks, man. You're right, Warrior Nun. It is time. It's time. With that being said, each and every one of you guys that are in this community are equally important. Yeah, that's my dog. He's my daughter's dog, but he thinks that he belongs to me. So he's like a 4.5 pound mole on my ass all the time. But let's stay together and stay strong, and let's stand tough on pedophilia, everybody. Let's get this shit done. Let's get this shit going. And with that being said, I love each and every one of you. You guys are the reasons why I do this and the betterment of children's futures. You guys give me the strength I need to continue to do this. And to all the haters out there, keep on taking shots. Take all your shots you want to. It's not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. Straight savage on this shit. I don't care anymore. Ain't nobody going to take my pride. Ain't nobody gonna slow me down. Oh no. You know what I mean? So that being said, remember everybody, one child is one too many. Remember, now you're gonna wanna tell your friends about me. You know what I mean? Exactly. Fucking exactly. Not exactly, exactly. That's right. Stomp out on pedophilia, baby. Right there, Batgirl. Right there. Bam, bam, bam. Yep.